Welcome to Not So Typical with Rare Orion, where we not only think outside of the box, but we're smart enough to know it was never really there in the first place. I have a really weird, paradoxical thought I have to share. If I can mask my autism and appear neurotypical, why doesn't my brain just figure it out and do it for real? Like you'd think with enough practice, masking would eventually just become who I am. It is how learning works, right? You practice something long enough and eventually it becomes more natural. But masking is the one thing that never actually turns into the real thing, no matter how much I do it. But why? Well, I can break that down. If you practice playing piano, your brain builds muscle memory. If you practice speaking a new language, your brain rewires itself to make it easier. Our brains are amazing. Even things like vision can self-correct over time with training. If I can fake eye contact, fake small talk, fake natural reactions, well, why doesn't my brain just eventually just absorb the skill and make it real? This is where things start to get weird because masking isn't learning, it's acting. When you learn a skill, your brain is actively building connections that make that skill easier over time. But masking, it doesn't create new connections. It doesn't rewire the brain to make socializing feel natural. It only teaches you how to perform. And that's why even after years, even decades of masking, it's still completely exhausting. Your brain is not adapting. It's just running a high energy social script every time you interact with people. We know that the brain is highly adaptive. People can literally change their thought process or reduce anxiety. The placebo effect is so strong, it can literally cure diseases. So if the brain can do all of that, why can't it just rewire autism? Because masking isn't about rewiring, it's suppressing. Autistic masking doesn't build new neural pathways. It just forces your brain to override its natural instincts. And the more you suppress, the more mental energy you're actually draining because your brain is constantly fighting itself. Dominant brain wiring never actually changes. That's what autistic masking is. You can get better at faking neurotypical behaviors. You can memorize exactly what to say and do. And yeah, you can train yourself to act right. But the second that you're exhausted or distracted or just can't keep up that performance anymore, your real brain is going to take over. Because autism isn't something that you can unlearn. It's how your brain is built. So here's the paradox of masking. You can get better at it. That doesn't make it easier. You can train yourself to appear neurotypical. That doesn't make it real. You can spend your whole life performing, but it will always cost you energy. Masking doesn't work like other learned skills because it's not learning. It's compensating. And over time, that overcompensation leads to burnout, anxiety, and exhaustion. So no, we can't just learn to be neurotypical because neurodivergent means our brains are wired differently. Not broken, they just work differently. My favorite part when I get to hear from you in the comments, have you ever thought to yourself, like, all this masking, it should have stuck by now? Like, if we've been doing it for so long, why isn't it automatic yet? Let's talk in the comments. You know I would love a like. I would love a follow. And as always, stay rare.